Deputy Speaker, for calling me to speak in this important debate. The UK has suffered one of the worst death rates, coupled with an economic crash that's greater than any of our international competitors. The government's COVID approach has failed. And I do note the timing of this debate, just hours before the national lockdown regulations expire, in a clear tactic to pressurise MPs. It is the government's responsibility, with its substantial majority, to secure their own policy. The Conservative government have a majority of 80, and I don't believe that MPs, particularly Labour MPs, should be placed under pressure to facilitate this government's agenda when it's clearly failing our country. Individuals, the excluded, and businesses in my constituency cannot afford to pay the price for the government's mistakes on test, track and trace and a tier system that's clearly not fit for purpose. The levels of government support are not sufficient. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, I'll be voting against what is effectively a third lockdown, particularly in my region in the North East. The government have never had a clear and consistent strategy. The Prime Minister has swung between the scientific evidence and political pressures. We've had 9 months of U-turn after U-turn, eroding public confidence and trust in government. No doubt the Prime Minister's wholehearted and uncritical defence of a special advisor breaking the COVID rules has contributed to an undermining of public trust in terms of their willingness to comply with COVID restrictions. Today we heard of a last-minute £40 million bailout for pubs, not introduced because the government wanted to support the industry, but as a payoff to secure the votes of Tory rebels. The government could have my vote tonight, Madam Deputy Speaker, with a competent and comprehensive support package for individuals and businesses in my constituency. First, we need to fully compensate the hospitality sector. Bars and clubs have spent many thousands of pounds to be COVID secure. It's reprehensible to turn on them now and say that that expenditure was for nothing. These, by and large, are not multinational or franchise businesses. These are community businesses that responded to COVID in our time of need and said, how can we help? They cooked and delivered meals and collected food throughout the first lockdown. They stood up tall and fed children during the school holidays when this government abandoned them. I'd like the Minister or the Prime Minister to tell Hordern Labour Club, the Flanders Pub, Dempsey's, Working Men's Clubs in Seaham, Merton, Shotton, Easton, Peterlee and many more that this government will stand by them, and then I could vote for these restrictions. Can the Prime Minister tell me what is the average payout the £40 million announced today going to be? The campaign for pubs calculate it's £32.26 a day to cover the catastrophic losses that they're going to suffer over the Christmas and New Year period. Until the government changes course, delivers a consistent strategy, prioritises businesses and the excluded in my constituency and my region, supports workers rather than penalising them, I cannot in good conscience vote for yet more pandemic measures based on a say-so of the Prime Minister and Health Secretary. I'll vote against these measures, Madam Deputy Speaker, in the hope that we can have more targeted measures and that we can have more trust in the government and its approach to this pandemic.